Welcome back to some Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm Dear Darling. I shall see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhallow today, where we'll be relaxing as per usual. It's actually Good Friday today. Wait, hold on. Hold on. Just double checking. I'm pretty sure it's Good Friday. Yeah, okay. So it's actually a bank holiday here in the UK. We have a long weekend, as they call it. So Friday's off. Then we have a usual weekend day, so Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday's off as well, which is very, very nice. It's nice to be able to relax, chill out, have a good time. I spent most of today really just doing recording I would do on Saturday. And then maybe on Saturday I might end up streaming instead of on Sunday. I'm not really sure. I'm sort of undecided at the moment, but hey ho. Hello everyone. Right now in Fawnhallow it's 5:19 p.m. on Friday, April 18th, 2025. It's April 18th? Oh, that makes sense. I did miss out 2 streams this month. Okay, so that makes a lot of sense actually. What I was gonna say is what can I talk about? There's not really much to say D&D wise because there hasn't been D&D for a bit, and that's not because it's out of schedule or anything. It's literally just like it hasn't been a week yet. So I think. The biggest thing is we played more Rabbit and Steel last night to probably far too late an hour, and literally on like, well, I guess it was the final run because it was so late and we were doing it. We finally passed Lunar Difficulty Church Mouse Streets. It was insanity. I honestly can't even remember why or what allowed us, well, apart from the fact that obviously we did enough damage and we passed all the mechanics, but it's been a long time coming. Lunar difficulty is very, very difficult, and it's the hardest difficulty in the game. And if you don't know what Rabbit and Steel is, it's basically like a bullet hell sort of game with kind of like, I would think of it like a 2D MMO RPG raid, dungeon raid. It's crazy, it's a lot of fun, I'm having a lot of fun times playing with my friends, and we finally defeated one of the levels on the hardest difficulty. Apparently this is, it's not necessarily the hardest difficulty when it comes to mechanics. Apparently that goes to the dragon one. I can't remember what it's called. The dragon keep, red dragon keep, is that right? Or it goes to the Emerald Lakeside, which is the frog world, which we haven't unlocked yet. But apparently this might be one of the hardest ones when it comes to item requirements, because it's got like the highest DPS check or something like that. And I was like, oh, okay, that does make a lot of sense, because I would say once we understood the mechanics, there were 2 most common like causes of ending our run. One being the crossroads tavern mechanic in the mini boss, and honestly I don't even know what we died to most in the 4th boss. Mainly just like, honestly it was just mainly a DPS check. Like most of the times it was like we couldn't kill the ads fast enough, or we like couldn't kill the mini boss fast enough. So I think that makes a lot of sense, but certainly explains a lot of things. So now I guess, I don't know what we're necessarily going to move on to, but I think it's going to be Scholar's Nest next, which would be, we'll have to basically relearn all the mechanics again from scratch. And at some point, we're going to have to be able to do 3 worlds in a row, and then finally tackle the final boss, which is absolutely crazy to think of how long it's taken us to actually get through Church Mouse Streets, because it's so difficult. But honestly, as long as it's a fun time, I have no qualms against it. I think it's certainly been a while since I've had such a difficult game has had such a grip on me. But anyway, we're not going to talk about that the entire time. I don't know when I'm actually going to talk about Rabbit and Steel on Animal Crossing. Until then, it's just going to occasionally crop up, I guess, in the discussions here and there. But yeah, so really today is a day of relaxation for me. Like I haven't done, well, actually I say relaxation, I just did a lot of recording. I've recorded like 5 episodes of things, 6 being this one. I didn't record any Another Crab's Treasure because I was just like, I feel like I'm not in the right mind space for it right now. So I did Little Gator Game and Animal Well, which are definitely a lot easier to record. Maybe I'll record some Another Crab's Treasure later, I don't know. But for now, I suppose, if anything, I should be putting in the timing stuff for it. But yeah, what should we talk about? I don't know. Let's see. What sort of games have come out recently? I don't know. I feel like it's probably long enough now that I can talk about the Game Changer season, which has come out, I'm not going to talk about things which specifically happen in it, but I am going to talk about like the overall concept of it. And I think that's fair because it's been uploaded the first 10 minutes to YouTube now. But Game Changer, if you don't know, is an online series, web show, I suppose, created by the people who used to be known as College Humor, but now known as Dropout TV, where essentially it's kind of like a game show where every single episode has a different rule set of some like crazy kind. Like one of them was basically Simon Says, and there was a very, very tricksy Simon Says. One of them is, let me think of another one. It was like basically they had to make noises. They were like given like an animal, try and make this noise, and then like the prompts got more and more convoluted along the way. One of them was like, it was basically like an escape room. They just got like trapped in the green room and then they had to find their way out of it. It was really, really cool. And my favourite one, I think, is probably Beat the Buzzer, where it's basically they were doing a quiz show, except for the buzzers were scattered all around the studio, essentially. And they had to go like find the buzzers to actually answer the question. And they all had like little mini games associated with them. So the newest season has come out, Game Changer Season 7. It started last week. No, a week and a half ago, I think. And I have been looking forward to it because I love this series. I really like a lot of Dropouts content, to be honest. At some point I need to actually get around to watching all the Dimension 20 like episodes and stuff. I watched the first season. I watched the first 2 seasons actually. I watched I've watched Fantasy High, freshman year, and I've watched Escape from the Bloodkeep. But I've yet to watch some of the future ones. Like I think I started on Sleeping City, like the first 10 minutes of it, but then I just never got around to actually watching it. But yeah, Game Changer is super, super cool. And the reason I talk about it is the concept they had for this most recent episode is crazy. Essentially what it is basically, I don't know, there's a British show called Taskmaster, which I think is in a similar vein. It's just on a huge time scale, this one. But basically the 3 contestants 1 year ago were given a list of challenges that they had to do. And then they would tape, of course, like what they've done and shared what they've done for basically a year later. So some of the challenges were like, I felt pretty reasonable ones being like, who can come with the best outfit to the show a year from now. So essentially being like, who can create the best outfit in a year's time. But then some start getting like pretty crazy. It's like, who can take this cardboard cutout of the host as far away in the most remote location possible, who can get the best selfie with like a celebrity or something. But it's like an absolute journey of an episode, and I won't spoil exactly how it ends, but you know, they certainly managed to flip it around on the host who's been giving them grief, I suppose, and reforge their bonds of friendship, I'd say. But it got me thinking about that sort of thing, being like, what would I do if I was in that situation? Because I think it's fun to think about, like, what would you do if you were on these game shows? But I feel like, one, I probably would never be on these game shows because for one, I'm not a comedian, to be honest. And the purposes of these shows, first and foremost, is, like, entertainment, right? It's meant to be fun, it's meant to be amusing to watch, or meant to show some form of creative expression in some way or another. Not so that I couldn't creatively express myself, but I feel like I'm not comedian level worthiness of entertainment to be able to go on stage and be like part of the cast of a show. I would certainly give it my all if I was on there, but I think a lot of the times I think about more practically what would I be like if I was on the show, being like, do I think, you know, if I'm watching Sam Says, which is basically my Simon Says episode, which is full of devious tricks, I'd be like, I wonder if I would have gotten caught out by that. Like, did I catch that? What would I have said in that situation? I don't know, I guess it's just kind of fun to think about. And some of them I'd want to do because they just seem plain fun. Like Beat the Buzzer just seems like plain fun. What else seems like I mean, they all seem just like plain fun, to be perfectly honest. Some would be insanely difficult. Well, one of them was like an improvised Broadway musical, which is crazy. I don't know how you do that, but I've spoken about that before, I'm pretty sure. But this one was a very interesting one because it was like, you have a whole year to plan. What can I do in a year to plan. Like, some of them I feel like I could do a pretty good job. Like, I could make a pretty good costume, I think, in a year's time for taping if I had to do it. I can't remember what other prompts there are. I think the celebrity one is pretty difficult because I think as comedians and stage comedians, they might have better connections probably to entertainment industry, who is what people think about more with celebrities. I don't really have any connections with the entertainment industry, so I have no idea who I would even do. I'd have to, like, go to an event or something and try and take a selfie, or I don't know. Who knows? What other ones would be super interesting? I think I could be there's one of them which was like who could perform the best magic trick, or learn and perform the best magic trick. I think I could do a pretty good one with a year's worth of practice. That could be a lot of fun. I don't know, but the whole concept of it is such an interesting idea. Very much playing very well into those who plan pretty well. Do I plan pretty well? I think I organise pretty well. Do I plan pretty well? Is sort of like, I don't think anyone would meet me and be like, she is the best planner in the entire world. Mainly because I don't plan things much. Not that I can't do it, but more so like I have no reason to, I suppose is a way to put it. Things like holidays or something. Do I plan much for a holiday? I think the answer is I don't actually go on many holidays, so I end up not doing much planning for them. Actually, I think my friends do a lot more. If anything, I'm just sort of... I help with itinerary here and there, but, you know, my friends carry a lot more passion for it than I necessarily do. I'm just kind of there, like, on the day being like, right, who do we need? Where are we going? Let's leave at this time, I guess. But yeah. Again, I don't... Even then, my involvement is still rather minimal, I would say. But I can organise things pretty well. Like, give me a project, I will organise it, like, fantastically. I'll, like, structure it pretty well, etc, etc, etc. Which I think is quite ironic, I think, considering the Animal Crossing thumbnail art. But that's probably because that's me trying to do too many things at once, to be honest. Which makes it rather difficult. And I'll be honest, I didn't organise or try and structure anything regarding to the Animal Crossing thumbnail art. It's something which I do when I have time in the evening and I've got, like, the energy for it. Which is why it's so sporadic, I suppose. Because I suppose at the end of the day, I end up prioritising recording with video more than with thumbnail art. Which I don't know if that's necessarily right or wrong, per se. But it's what ends up happening. But anyway, so 1 year later, like, what could I do within 1 year? What could I plan? What could I prepare? What could I make ready? What could I do better or worse? I will say 100%. I also thought the same thing that one of the contestants thought when it was like, who can get this cardboard cutout of the host the furthest distant, the most remote location? I immediately went, I want to get it into space. I don't know how I would do that, because I'm pretty sure I would need some connections of some kind to, like, some space program. I don't. But, you know, maybe there's some way or another. I mean, Tom Scott sent garlic bread to space. I don't see why I couldn't do the similar sort of thing with a cardboard cutout. Maybe? I don't know. Yeah. What else? I don't know. It's hard to remember the challenges off the top of my head. I remember the last challenge, but I'm not going to say it because it will... Well, I say the last challenge. I won't say what happens during the challenge in the episode. But the last challenge is an insane one. It's about, like, who could collect the most locks of people's hair that they know. I don't really know how I would do that one, to be honest. That seems like an insane one. I guess, I mean, I know a reasonable amount of people, and then I think a lot of people would just be I don't know. I get the impression that a lot of people would actually give me their locks of hair because they would trust me in the sense that I wouldn't do anything weird with it. I'd explain the premise being like, it's for a TV show. It's very stupid. I know, it's silly. I promise you I'm not going to do anything weird with it. And I think a lot of my friends are good sports, so they'd find it really funny if I did something like that. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess that's kind of more limited by the amount of people I know rather than actually convincing them to give, like, a lock of my hair. If someone asked me, like, and they were a friend, I would give them a lock of my hair. I don't see why not. For one, I've got very long hair, so it's not like it's percentage-wise I'm not losing all that much from it. And two, I don't know. I feel like they wouldn't ask me if they didn't have a good reason to, right? I'm trying to think what other ones are there. One of them was like who could raise the most money or something. Like they got an investment of $1,000. Who can make the most money profit from that as well? I would say my thought would be like, I don't know, I'd put it into like some sort of pot or like, but I'd be like, that's kind of boring. I guess I would try and invest it in stocks. I don't know if maybe I could learn how to card count or something and try and go to like a casino and then do that. I don't know if I'd be very successful at that, but it would be an interesting idea. But yeah, just like a year's worth of preparation is just, I don't know, it's just so much time, but also like not any time at all. Because I was also thinking about the fact that if I was like in primary school, secondary school or something, I'd be like, that's so much time. I would do so many things. But like as an adult, obviously, you know, the time you have needs to be distributed over like so many more things now. That makes it rather difficult to necessarily say with definitive answers that yes, I would do it like this, I would do it like this. But certainly when you're a child and you have a lot more time, I feel like it'd be easier to get things done like that, you know. Yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to think what challenge would I set if I had to come up with a challenge for that sort of thing. I think it'd be cool to do a travel thing, like who could take a photo at the most, I don't know. I was going to say capital cities, but then I thought like it should be something interesting. And also I think it happened during COVID time, so probably they wouldn't want to do something travel based or too much, but I'm not sure. Like I think I would have an open-ended one of like who could do the most. I'm not sure how to describe it, but basically the concept I want is who can do something which is just so mind-blowing on the most people's bucket lists sort of things, the most incredible, inspiring thing within a year, right? Like a lot of people's bucket lists, I don't know, write a book or something like that. So at least that like super open-ended of what they could do. And then it's like ranked by like how bucket list worthy sort of thing, how inspirational a thing is it? Or maybe you could leave it super open and be like, who can change most people's lives for the better or something within a year? How do you do that? I don't know, but it's provocative, as they say. Interesting to think about. Or they could just be like, who? See, some of them are quite hard to like enforce, or can be like who read the most books or something in a year. I don't know. I feel like I'd want something of improvement related, right? Oh, maybe it'd be like who could learn the most party tricks or something, or the most useless, the most like not low level skills, but you know, like small skills, things like spinning a pen or like juggling 3 balls or something. I want like who could demonstrate the most, who could learn the most talent show skills within 1 year. I think that would be my one. Just like learning a load of small different things. And I think talent shows kind of encapsulates the vibe I want. That doesn't mean that other things can't be included, right? Who could learn how to do the most hobbies in a year? I feel like that's very COVID fitting as well. Anyway, I think on that note, I guess I'll round this episode off here. So, if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares, greatly appreciated. Socials, Discord down below. Hope to see each other again, but for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye-bye for now.